The Dallas Cowboys have made a surprising roster move ahead of their final game against the Washington Commanders. It's been a up and down year, to say the least, for the Dallas Cowboys, and even more so for this guy, who will no longer be on the squad. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Cowboys Digest. Welcome in, everybody, to Cowboys Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to each and every one of you. Let's hope that 2025 brings some more luck and prosperity to the Dallas Cowboys than 2024 did, because it wasn't a great year. But first and foremost, to all of your families, wish you all a Happy New Year, and thank you so much for the support when we first launched this channel in 2024. Let's keep it going all the way into the new year. We're going to try to be more consistent with the uploads, so shout out to you guys for sticking with me for all this time, and let's keep it going. But thanks, guys, again, and Happy New Year to you and your loved ones. Let's get into the roster move that I'm talking about, and the Cowboys are releasing running back Ezekiel Elliott. I'm also told Elliott requested his release. This was by Josina Anderson, and the writing was kind of on the wall for Zeke. I mean, up and down year, not many ups really to speak of, and just I didn't agree with the move from the jump to bring him back. Now, I understand that he's been one of the better Dallas Cowboys of all time when it comes to rushing numbers and whatnot, but the fit just didn't make sense, and it took the Cowboys way too long to switch over to Rico Dowdle as the number one back, who had a lot of success later on in the year, but at that point it was too little too late. They had to commit to the rush game. They did not do that, and then they realized what they had in Dowdle, but didn't really give him the runway to be as successful as he should have been. And this was Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on the team's release of Ezekiel Elliott out of respect and appreciation for Zeke, and wanting to provide him with an opportunity to pursue any potential playoff participation possible. We are releasing him from the Cowboys roster today. As I have said many times previously, Zeke's impact as one of the greatest to ever play with the star on their helmet will never change and is etched in our record books and history forever. We thank him, love him, and wish him the absolute best. So classy there, classy message by Jerry Jones. And that's it. That's it for Zeke. Now, I don't know if anything is imminent on the Zeke front. I don't know if any playoff team will want to take him. I mean, one comes to mind, and that's the Detroit Lions, who have operated with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery for a couple of years now, and that's been one of the most successful duos at running back in the National Football League. Now, David Montgomery seemingly going to be out for the season, or at least until the Lions get deeper into the playoffs. Maybe then he'll have a chance to come back. But Zeke behind that Detroit O-line, in some certain situations, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is still going to get probably 80 to 90% of the touches out of the backfield. But bringing in Zeke as that power back, kind of acting like David Montgomery was for a while before he went down with injury, that might work out for them. But you could see there's a lot more explosiveness to the game of David Montgomery as opposed to Zeke, who just looks a step slow. If we're going to be honest here, he does not look like he has any burst left whatsoever. And one thing that I found interesting, and his yards per game. So you guys could see the Y/G right there. His has gone down every single year that he has been in the National Football League. And I read a stat that was the only time that has ever happened in 9 consecutive seasons. So you see one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, so dominant with the Dallas Cowboys in 2016, which was peak Zeke Elliott. He was never better than he was in his rookie season, and that's due to maybe overusage, due to just not do some injuries as well. Like, he has missed time in his NFL career, so he's been very successful. There's no doubt, but just not the same player. Not the same player that he used to be, and he hasn't been for quite a while now. Like, he had a decent season with the New England Patriots. He was their leading receiver, which is saying a lot about that organization and how they are right now. But it's just it wasn't the right move from the jump. It wasn't the right move from the jump to bring in Zeke. And still one of my favorite Cowboys that I've seen, especially coming in the way that he did and just being so successful in his rookie year. I'll never forget that. But, I mean, you could just see here by the declining numbers, the declining skill set, it was a long time coming now for Zeke to be released. And I'm glad that they didn't really give him the carries that they were saying that he would get earlier in the season, because Rico really emerged as a guy for them. But I don't know. I don't think Dalvin Cook was the answer either. But if you look at the Cowboys running back room, you flash back 4 or 5 years ago, it's probably the best in football, maybe one of the best of all time, if you have Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott in your backfield. But those two guys are over the hill, not what they used to be, and for that reason, the Cowboys didn't really have much of a run game to speak of until they actually turned it over to Rico, who has that burst and has that explosiveness. And this was a statement from Zeke's agent, Rocky Arsenault. I'd like to thank Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys for affording Zeke this unique opportunity in granting us our release. Even though nothing is imminent, Zeke is excited about the possibilities and is grateful. He's got a lot of good football left in him and will remain a Dallas Cowboy for life. Now, I don't know about that last part, about a lot of good football left in him. We saw Zeke play 15 games this year. Not much to write home about. Definitely not much to write home about. So I don't think he's got that much great football ahead of him. I mean, the declining numbers will tell you that there probably isn't much left in the tank for Zeke. So he's had some good years, had some great years, actually. But again, been declining ever since his rookie season. And I'm not going to say that he's declined heavily or that he was washed up at the age of 24. But once he hit 25, you could see that burst really start to fade away for Zeke. And that was when Tony Pollard really started to come in and show some signs as a backup running back. And then ultimately ended up getting paid by the Tennessee Titans. So again, he's had a great career. A great few years, a great peak with the Dallas Cowboys, but the fact that they brought him back, it was just never going to work out. I mean, he played on a really bad football team in New England, put up some numbers there, but again, the yards per carry was not great. 3.5 in New England, 3.1 this year, and it was 3.8 in his final year in Dallas, and then he was above 4.5 for the majority of his first few years. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. And Zeke, I hope that he could sign on with somebody and maybe play a role there, but it was just never going to work out from the jump for him over here in Dallas. Not this season, not with this line, not with the way that the offense performed and all the injuries. It was written in the stars. So shout out to Zeke on a great career with the Cowboys, but hopefully this closes that chapter, and hopefully the Cowboys can move in a different direction and don't entertain the possibility of bringing him back this offseason, because I wouldn't put it past Jerry Jones. But let me know in the comments down below, where does Zeke rank amongst your top Dallas Cowboys running backs of all time? He's got to be up there for me. I mean, definitely had some great years. There's no doubt about it. But that's it. That's it for his Cowboys career. At least you'd hope so. And again, Happy New Year, and health and wealth and prosperity to each and every one of you. Go Cowboys.